What's going on, everyone? Chris Mack coming at you today with the Transformers Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Firefly Hasbro action figure. I've been wanting to pick this one up for a while, and unfortunately trying to get it in box. Oh, forget about it. Complete in box is like 150 plus on the secondary market, and I was like, ain't no way that's happening. But thankfully I found it for a relatively inexpensive price, loose but complete, so I can't complain too much. So with that said, if you guys do want to pick up this figure, right now it's going to either be checking out your local comic shop and seeing if they have it in stock, or the secondary market that I just mentioned. And since we don't have a box, let's go ahead and talk about the accessories, since thankfully this thing came with all of them. Right off the bat, very cool blaster. It's simple, but it's just funny how even though accessories like this may look simplistic with all the hollowness inside it, it just adds that effect to these Transformer figures. I don't know what it is, but just that blaster in and of itself looking like a cool little sniper rifle or something like that looks absolutely awesome. The second piece, since it's a Combiner War, this figure is the arm, I believe, for Superion. So this piece here, you can either put it on the blaster for a jet, but ultimately I believe these become the hand for Superion, and because of the price point of these on the secondary market, I will probably never see the rest of the Aerialbots, unfortunately, but that's alright. At least when I have him in his, his hidden mode, or his vehicle mode, whatever you want to call it, at least I have two cool things I can adjust or set up into, what are those things called on the side? Wings. As for a weapon, it looks a little funky. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but looks kind of funky compared to the other one. So it is what it is, what you guys want to do with it. The last thing that he does come with, of course, is the instructions that are one of those things that are misleading. I mean, you could follow it, and for the most part, if you kind of have enough common sense, you can kind of figure what they're trying to say. But sometimes I feel like they don't explicitly tell you the steps, so you're just kind of left holding the bag and having to eventually look at pages like Stratimus Prime or Opbotimus to get the full story. But to have it nonetheless as part of the collection, I'm happy. Speaking of, since I don't have the box, I will go ahead and throw up some pictures I found online of the box, so that way if you guys feel inclined to drop that much on a full, complete Firefly, feel free. Packaging looks cool, but at the end of the day, I'm just happy to have the figure. For clarification, Fireflight was renamed to Firefly for trademark reasons. If you have more info on this, please let me know down in the comments, because that's about as much of it as I could find, which I will say that Fireflight is a much better name. This series, the Combiner Wars, was released in 2015 with a focus on updating versions of Combiner Transformers from the past. Fireflight is one of the arms that can combine with his fellow Aerialbots to form Superion. The Aerialbots' first Marvel Comics appearance was Transformers number 21 from June 1986. And according to the Marvel Guide, he can reach up to speeds of Mach 2. Though he's been deemed a hazard in the skies, since he tends to be distracted by all the spectacles rather than paying attention to where he is going. The G1 cartoon voice actor was Jeff McKay, rest in peace. And yeah, just a beautiful piece overall. If you guys have more information on Fireflight in particular, let me know. I love talking with y'all down in the comments. Now, since we've already gone over his accessories, let's look at the paint apps. Now, I will say that this piece is absolutely gorgeous. My first one that I got I found in a garage sale. And I was like, yeah, this is cool, but unfortunately, this wing was snapped off. And I was like, damn, that's what kind of prompted me to want to get a new one. Gave the other one to my son, and he absolutely loves playing with the thing. So, what can I say? I got a little Transformer minion in training. The silver sheen on his head looks great. I do wish, however, kind of like with the new 86 Cup, I wish that they would have found a way to let light in so that you would get those glowing eyes effect, because just the matte paint just does not give it the justice that the Transformers should have. Love the metal here on the shoulders with the straight up Autobot logo there. And the same on the wings, which we will talk about in a minute. In his robot mode, I think he looks absolutely awesome. And I like to say absolutely. I don't know. It's just one of my words. The matte white on there just looks great compared against the blues and the reds all around the piece. Just gives off that G1 feeling while still looking awesome in and of itself. I don't know. And then the way that these blue thrusters here just work down into the body, I love it. I love everything about it. Now, the only thing that does kind of throw me off is, you know, every Transformer tends to have a backpack because the transformations can only tuck so much in. The landing gear on the back of his head, I just kind of feel aesthetically takes away, but you just have to sometimes let some of that go and just appreciate the piece in and of itself. I love that they made sure to add the little blasters. I wish they would have put maybe some light blue washing or black here just to make it stand out from his hands, but it is what it is. Love the black here on the legs, looks great. The metal sheen on the toes. Yeah, and then on the rear wings here, just look absolutely spectacular. Now in his robot mode, he actually has pretty good articulation, but one thing that I noticed, I thought maybe it was just the first one that I picked up, but he does have some loose-ass leg joints, and that's probably the only thing that I have against this figure is those loose leg joints, because when you're trying to do action figure photography, this is just spinning and rocking, so at least you get like almost a full 360 there. Good stuff. And then of course the legs, since it's a robot and he has to transform, you get a nice range of motion there. You can get his knees pretty far up into a nice 90-degree angle there, and then you can kind of tuck the arms up that way if you want to get a cool design that way. I love the ball joints, because, you know, if the Transformers with these newer ones, if those pop up, you can just pop them back in. You don't have to worry too much about them breaking. The only thing that they do suffer is just the single jointed elbow. So they only get 90 degrees. It is what it is. Head actually has some pretty good play on a ball joint, so you can get a nice loosey-goosey rock in there. So yeah, great articulation. I gotta say, the one thing that I do appreciate about this Combiner War is, in a sense, he is a triple changer. Nothing spectacular, or like we saw with the, what was it, the Bumblebee movie Soundwave, which I know is a repaint from another version, nonetheless. So we're going to start with, what would it be, his left arm. So from what I understand, in the OG Combiner Wars, are just in the, what do you call it, Superion mode, he was the left arm and hands. So I'm glad that Hasbro kept that, and what you do, thankfully it's not too complicated, because I know there's some of these that just get to be, yeah, anyway. This flips, so just keep his head forward, like so. Push in. Whoop. That. Then you're going to take the arms, you're going to fold them up and back and down like so, just over the back of the wing. Same on this side, so up, turn, fold. So now I kind of got that blockhead going on. Let me just derp him around a little bit, why don't we? The feet, straighten them out. And then you're going to interlock them, essentially. So here, here, and this is the basis for the arm. You can pull this so that it interlocks. And then you spin this so that he has an elbow joint. And then the hand hinges here. And you got the pivot of the hand. Pull. So if you have the other Combiner Wars, you could slap on the left arm, which is the original look for, what's his name? Fireflight. Now, if you want to do the new, from what I understand, the new version is the left leg. So it's not too hard to go from the left leg to this transformation, so you just take this off. Gonna unpeg here. Assuming it wants to. There it goes. Then you're going to, on the back, these red parts, open up. And then you're going to hinge up. So make sure that it folds up like so. Same with the other leg. So they're tucked in now. And these little pegs are going to go into that little peg. And don't moose it. It's going to take a little bit of patience. Yes, I'm more or less talking to myself because sometimes it's like, can we just close? Especially when you're trying to do this on camera. It's like, I'm not going to do it. I feel like I'm dealing with a very immature. Oh, you know what's wrong? Got to fold, spin it. Yeah. Then, maybe. Success! And then these little pegs here are going to come up into there. And I'm going to leave it loose for now because we got to do this to the other leg now. Make sure that that's fully folded. Snap that in. And then you're going to reconnect it. Make sure everything is lined up. These little pegs are going to peg into the back. Yeah, it can kind of be a pain in the ass. I tell you what. Burp, burp. Burp, burp. Just make sure you get everything on a light little squeeze. Make sure we're plugged in there. Make sure everything is flush there. You leave the, bring up the, what the hell is this thing? Little tail wing. Fold that up like so. You can do what you want with these. You can flare them out, tuck them in. It's your figure. Do what you want. Now the hands, you're going to leave this for now. The arms you're going to bring straight up. Notice this little slot. And these little doodads right there. So you're going to bring the arm in. Find where these bad boys match up. Peg it in, peg it in. Do the same thing with this leg. What is this thing called? An arm. Derp, derp, derp. Snap-a-rooney. And then you can just straighten that up like so. Now, take the hand. It's going to become a foot. So you peg that back up, straighten that out. And from what I understand, this is supposed to come out kind of like a, what the hell is this thing called? A shin guard. So you put the boosters as the toes. And bloop, we've gone from a hand to a foot. So that's why I say it's not too overly complicated to do the first two transformations for the combiner part, which I'm glad that they included. That's very much appreciated. Now to go to his jet mode. I tried to keep the head like this because I thought, well, maybe. So you unpeg peg here and lay it down, and I mean you can. Or if you want to follow the instructions, gotta gently unpeg here. Bring them forward just a little bit so you can bring the head back around. And then relock it back into place. Assuming it will let you. Burp. Burp. It don't want to play with me today. Then spin the head around. That. Just lays over the face. Take the foot off. Blink. Bring the tail wing back down. Layer these up. And then he's in his airplane mode, which is awesome. I love this thing. The colors just give off that nice G1 80s look. They pop. That nice cherry red, just super awesome. I do wish that this locked better. Kind of give it a little bit of a squeeze to get it to stay. And I wish that this had a translucent, like some of the newer stuff. That would have been cool. Kind of like I know this is from a different version, but this is the repaint for the 86 Coronation Starscream, which I absolutely love. But I mean, and we've gone over this figure, so I will leave what are those things called? A doodad card. See how they had the translucent and they made sure to put like the little jet fighter seats in there? And it just gives out that nice sheen in the light. So instead of just matte coloring it like that, I mean, the silver's cool, but I would have appreciated that. Now, again, this is, I don't remember what this one is from. The original one, I think it was Earth Wars. I don't remember. There's so many friggin' Transformers. But I was talking to our community member, Supertron, and he was telling me that the Aerialbots, the Stunticons, they were originally designed for the Diaclone toy line, which Takara, I guess, discontinued to bring Transformers to Japan. Oh yeah, one more thing before we continue with that. The landing joint can kind of be a pain in the butt sometimes. Like so. Now, also, allegedly, the Aerialbots, the Stunticons, the Protectobots, the Combaticons, the Technobots, the Horrorcons, the Seacons, what's it called? The G1 toys had all interchangeable limbs. Now, I was watching Autobot, and he was showing that this connected to another Transformer that wasn't Superion. I don't remember which one it was. So I appreciate that they at least make sure to make these joints interchangeable so you can kind of make your own Frankenstein robots. That's awesome. But from what he told me, that this didn't really translate into the G1 fiction. And I agree. The only thing that I remember from the cartoon in both the Marvel comics is Superion. I don't remember any of the other giant ones other than obviously Devastator, and then Fortress Maximus and Tripticon weren't, combiners, but they were big robots. So I'm glad that we at least are getting updated versions of these. Looks absolutely spectacular. I'm glad that everything has a function and just looks great overall. I wish, though, again, in size, I mean, look at this. Starscream just... I wish that they would have given us an Autobot to match the size of the Decepticon, because Starscream is just... Damn, look at that. Even though it still has that ugly hole. Oh, look at that ugly hole. Anyway, we're going to get off holes. What do you guys think? Which one do you prefer more? Do you dig the smaller version, like Fireflight, or do you like these larger, which I prefer the larger versions here, like Starscream? I almost forgot the weapons. So one thing I've always been a super stickler about is weapon storage. So I'm glad that the foot, the hand, you can kind of just curve this off to the side, make sure it's hinged up. And these little pegs here on the bottom. Plug one in there. Which looks kind of silly on such a small design. That's what I mean by they should have made it bigger. And then you take his handgun, plug it into this other side. He's got some heavy gunnage going on, but that just looks silly. The other thing that was kind of farting around with that you can do if you want and look kind of weird, is hinge that up. Put it there, and it looks kind of like he has a rocket booster going on, but that thumb just sort of gives it away. But at least you have options to be creative with the weapon storage. So even though it looks silly for that size, c'est la vie. You can hook it up, and it looks beautiful. Now here's Fireflight next to the Transformers that we've already gone over. And I didn't realize that the Transformer lines, they're kind of starting to fill up my desk here. So this is the 86 Studio Series Coronation Starscream. This is the 86 Studio Series Hot Rod, Studio Series 86 Cup and Perceptor. Up here, still probably my favorite one of all, is the Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime. And then the Doombox Bumblebee movie, what's his name? Soundwave. And once you put him next to his companions and enemies, they look absolutely gorgeous together. So if you're the type of collector who likes to put figures on a shelf, he's going to fit in with these spectacularly. And for me, being an action figure photographer, I cannot wait to see what kind of shots I can come up with all of these awesome characters. So who's your favorite Transformer? What are you going to do with all of your awesome Transformer action figures? Are you going to put them on a shelf? Are you going to do action figure photography? Let us know. We'd love to see photos over on the socials. I thoroughly enjoyed this figure, and I'm glad that I broke down and bought a complete version of it. Because not having the accessories just kind of makes you feel incomplete. And I guess that's just the collector in me. But the way that he could triple change, that's really a cool added addition to this piece, especially for how tiny it is. And at least the transformations are not a pain in the butt. 'Cause I know some of these pieces, you try to put them together and it's like a Rubik's Cube, because you have to hope that things are going to snap into place. So at least this one is cool to pose around and can transform relatively easy. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever there's like to get your action figures and comics, or the secondary market that we talked about at the beginning of the review. Speaking of, if you did enjoy this review, really would appreciate you taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Energon bell next subscribe, that way as I continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel. We love talking with you on hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure that the links down in the description. So with all that said, photo slideshow coming up next. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.